Love had always been a mystery to Olivia. It was the one thing she wanted the most, but it had also been the one thing that had hurt her the most. Her first relationship ended in betrayal. He had slept with her closest friend. Her second was even worse. It lasted almost a year, and just when she thought it was going somewhere, he told her he wasn't ready for commitment and disappeared from her life without any explanation. So when Ryan walked into her life, Olivia didn't rush. She had grown careful, even suspicious of anything that looked too good to be true. But Ryan seemed different. He was calm, soft-spoken, and patient. He wasn't just interested in her beauty, he listened to her stories, asked about her dreams, remembered small details. He was the kind of man who would notice when she changed her earrings, or bring her a snack she once casually mentioned she liked. They met at a wedding. Olivia had gone with a friend who was part of the bridal train. Ryan was the groom's cousin. They sat beside each other during the reception, and their first conversation lasted more than 2 hours. They talked about music, childhood, books, and movies. There was no flirting, no pickup lines, just honest conversation. By the end of that evening, Olivia was smiling more than usual. She gave him her number without hesitation. They started talking daily. Then it turned into voice notes, long calls at night, and laughter-filled weekends. By the 3rd week, they had gone on 3 dates. On their 4th date, Ryan brought her a single rose and a novel she had mentioned wanting to read. Olivia's heart melted. It wasn't the gifts, it was that he paid attention. What Olivia didn't know was that Ryan was carrying a secret. A very heavy one. 2 years before he met Olivia, Ryan had tested positive for HIV. He had found out after falling very ill, ending up in the hospital, and going through a series of tests. At first, he couldn't believe it. He thought the result was wrong. But after a second test confirmed it, the truth hit him hard. The virus had come from a woman he dated during his wild phase. She had never told him she was positive. They had unprotected sex for months. She had moved away shortly after their breakup, and Ryan had no way to reach her. He blamed her, but he also blamed himself for being careless. He went through depression. He shut everyone out. He nearly gave up. But after months of counseling and support, he began to accept his status. He started medication. His viral load became undetectable. The doctors told him that as long as he took his medication daily, he could live a full, healthy life, even get married and have children. But the fear never left. When he met Olivia, he had just started rebuilding his life. She was the first woman who had made him laugh in a long time. He had promised himself he would be honest if the relationship became serious. But as time passed, he grew more afraid. What if she left? What if she judged him? What if she told others? So he kept quiet. He told himself he would tell her when the time was right, maybe after she got to know him better. Maybe after she fell in love. But there was never a right time. As their love grew stronger, his fear grew deeper. Ryan was careful. He always used protection. He hid his medication in a locked drawer in his wardrobe. He never missed a dose. And he continued to hide the truth. 6 months into the relationship, Ryan took Olivia to meet his parents. His mother adored her instantly. His father said she had the kind of smile that could melt ice. His younger sister started calling her my in-law from the second day. Olivia felt completely at home. She loved his family. They treated her like one of their own. A few weeks later, Ryan proposed. It was a quiet, beautiful moment, just the 2 of them on a hilltop at sunset, with a ring and a trembling voice. Olivia cried tears of joy and said yes. The wedding plans began. Olivia's family was excited. Her mother started buying fabrics. Her friends planned the bridal shower. Ryan's family booked the wedding venue and paid for a live band. Everyone was happy. But Ryan couldn't sleep at night. He would wake up sweating, scared. He wanted to tell her. He needed to. But every time he looked at her smile, he froze. How could he destroy something so beautiful? Olivia started spending weekends at his house to help with wedding preparations. She arranged his closet, helped organize his kitchen, and often did his laundry. Ryan became even more careful, making sure his medication was hidden away every time she visited. But secrets, no matter how deeply hidden, always find a way out. One weekend, Ryan had to travel for a work retreat. Olivia offered to come early and clean the apartment before he returned. He agreed, but he was nervous. She arrived with a small travel bag, took off her shoes, and began tidying the house. She swept the living room, cleaned the kitchen, and then moved into the bedroom. The bedsheets needed changing. The wardrobe looked messy. She smiled to herself, feeling like a wife already. While arranging clothes in the wardrobe, her hand accidentally hit a drawer she had never noticed before. It was slightly open. Curious, she pulled it. Inside was a brown paper bag from a pharmacy. She opened it. At first, she thought it was just regular medication. Then she saw the names. Tenofovir, Lamivudine, Efavirenz. She didn't recognize them, so she picked up her phone and searched each one. The first result hit her like a slap. Antiretroviral medication used in the treatment of HIV. She froze. She checked the second. Same result. Her chest tightened. Her eyes blurred with tears. She sat down on the edge of the bed, holding the packet in her trembling hands. Her heart pounded like it wanted to break out of her chest. She couldn't believe it. She read the labels again. There was no mistake. Ryan had HIV. She sat there for over an hour. The room felt cold. Her hands were numb. She didn't know whether to scream or cry. Ryan came back that night. He opened the door and saw her sitting silently on the floor, holding the pharmacy bag. He dropped his bag instantly. Olivia. She looked at him, eyes full of betrayal. Why? He said nothing. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Why didn't you tell me? I was going to, he whispered. When? On our wedding night. I was scared. Scared of what? That I'd leave you. He nodded slowly. Her voice broke. So you decided to lie to me instead. You let me plan a wedding, meet your parents, sleep in your house, love you, and all this time, you were hiding this from me. I never put you at risk. I've always been careful. I swear. It's not just about the risk, she shouted. It's about trust. You looked me in the eyes every day and pretended. Ryan knelt before her. Please. I'm sorry. She stood up slowly, shaking her head. No. I can't do this. And then she walked out of his house, and out of his life. Ryan didn't sleep that night. He sat on the floor, where Olivia had dropped the medicine bag, and stared at the empty doorway long after she had gone. Her voice echoed in his head, her tears burned in his memory, and her words, you looked me in the eyes every day and pretended, struck deeper than any physical wound ever could. He didn't go to work the next day. He didn't eat. His phone remained on the table, buzzing with unanswered calls, not from Olivia, but from his parents and sister who noticed something was wrong when he hadn't returned home. Olivia didn't answer his messages. She didn't open his voice notes. She didn't even read his long email, titled "Please just let me explain." She was done. She didn't go to work either. Her mother found her lying curled up on her bed the next morning, her eyes red and her face swollen. At first, her parents thought they had fought about wedding stress. But after 3 days of silence and tears, Olivia finally broke. She told her mother everything, from the drawer, to the drugs, to the Google search, to the confrontation. Her mother sat quietly, tears in her eyes. Her father, listening from the door, came into the room and sat on the edge of the bed. "You made the right choice," he said quietly, and walked out. Those words did not comfort Olivia. She didn't feel like she had made a right choice. All she felt was loss. For weeks, Olivia cried herself to sleep. She tried to delete Ryan's number. She couldn't. She tried to block him. She failed. Every time her phone buzzed, a part of her wished it was him, even though she had no intention of replying. He called from different numbers. She ignored them all. The wedding was officially cancelled. Olivia's mother returned all the lace materials. The event hall deposit was refunded. Her father informed the pastor. Olivia's friends, who had planned to throw her a bridal shower, sat in stunned silence when she told them the truth. One even blamed her for overreacting. "He didn't cheat on you," she had said. "He just hid something because he was scared." Olivia didn't respond. She stopped talking to that friend. Ryan's family was shocked too. He confessed everything to them. His mother wept, not just because of the disease, but because of the lies. "She was like a daughter to me," she said, wiping her tears. His father looked away in silence. His sister hugged him, but her words cut deep. "You broke her. You could have told her. She loved you." Ryan fell into depression again. He took time off work, then resigned altogether. He started seeing his old counselor. Some days he couldn't get out of bed. He lost weight. His smile disappeared. He stopped wearing bright clothes. His laughter vanished. The one woman who had loved him, who made him believe he could be whole again, was gone. And it was his fault. He wrote her letters, long, heartfelt letters. He left one at her office. Another he mailed to her parents' house. She didn't reply to any of them. A few months later, Ryan joined a non-profit organization that helped young people living with HIV. It gave him something to do, a reason to get out of bed. He met others like him, some angry, some in denial, some brave. He began to talk to them, share his story, encourage them to speak out, be honest, protect their partners. But Olivia was always on his mind. Everywhere reminded him of her, the corner shop where they used to buy popcorn, the street where they took walks at sunset, the restaurant where he had proposed. Every time he saw a wedding, he looked away. Every time someone said the name Olivia, his chest tightened. 2 years passed. Olivia moved to another part of the city. She got a promotion at work. She looked fine from the outside, she smiled more, dressed elegantly, even hosted a radio talk show once about betrayal and healing. But inside, a part of her heart was still sore. She had dated one man briefly. It didn't work. She couldn't trust the same way again. She thought of Ryan sometimes. Not with anger, but with sadness. He had not only broken her trust, he had made her question her own instincts. One rainy Saturday afternoon, she was at a supermarket picking up groceries when she saw a man standing by the bread shelf. From behind, he looked familiar, the posture, the hair, the shoulders. When he turned, her heart skipped a beat. It was Ryan. Thinner. Older. But definitely him. He hadn't seen her. She stood frozen for a few seconds, then turned and walked away, abandoning her basket. She sat in her car, hands trembling. She didn't cry. She just whispered, "Why didn't you tell me?" Ryan had seen her too, just as she walked out. His heart broke again. He didn't follow her. He knew better. That night, he wrote another letter, not to send, just to breathe. "It's been 2 years since I lost you. I know you're not mine anymore. I know you don't hate me, that would have been easier. I think you pity me. That's worse. You were my peace, and I filled our story with silence and fear. I saw you today. You looked beautiful. Strong. You've moved on, and I've learned to live. But not to forget. I never will. He folded the letter and put it in a box where he kept all the others. A year later, Ryan met someone new, a woman named Elaine. She was a counselor at the support group. She was open, kind, and also HIV positive. She knew his story. She had lived through her own shame and grief. With her, Ryan didn't have to hide. There was no fear, no pretending, no locked drawers. They became friends. Then more. It was different from what he had with Olivia. Not better. Just different. He told Elaine about Olivia one night, as they sat watching the rain from his balcony. She was the one I truly loved, he said. Elaine nodded gently. Do you still love her? He looked away. I don't think that ever stopped. They got married quietly a year later. There were no big ceremonies. Just close friends and quiet vows. Ryan smiled again. He laughed again. But some nights, when the world was silent, he would sit alone in the living room, looking at an old photo on his phone, Olivia in a blue dress, laughing on the beach. He never deleted it. Not because he was holding on, but because some memories are too precious to erase. Ryan lived. He found love again. He helped others. But a piece of his heart always remained with the woman he had once loved, and lost, because he couldn't tell the truth. And Olivia. She never married. Not because she didn't want to, but because she never found anyone who made her feel safe again. She became a writer, speaking at women's events about healing, self-worth, and honesty. Sometimes, when people asked if she had ever been in love, she would smile softly and say, yes. And I still pray for him. Moral of the story. Secrets meant to protect can become weapons that destroy. Ryan thought he was shielding Olivia from pain, but in hiding his illness, he shattered her trust and broke both their hearts.